It's our money guy, Tony Walls. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Well, at some point, we all may need a little bit of help with funds for home improvement because it is just that season, or sometimes we want to pay down existing debt. So what we're going to talk about is home equity lines of credit, because that is it's a vehicle, I guess we would say, to manage your money a little bit more effectively. What is a HELOC?
So a HELOC is a home equity line of credit. And some people get confused. You can do a fixed second mortgage. So think of it this way: you have your first mortgage, for say 200 grand, and say your house is worth 400. You can do a fixed second, which is say 10 years at 5%, and you pay it off. Home equity line of credit is one of my favorite tools.
Yay!
Because it's an open-ended line of credit. So you can pay it off, you can use it again. There's usually a 5 or 10 year draw period, but it's so fantastic. When we look at the rising home prices, which is kind of a bummer if you're gonna go buy a house, but if you're going to tap that equity and kind of streamline your finances, especially in these times where we see inflation is every time I go to the store or get a coffee, it's getting more and more. So what I like to do is you can consolidate any credit card debt on there because it's a lower rate on there. And this time of year, and I've had a ton of them at the credit union lately, is if you have some projects.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of people, I think, you just mentioned the home market. A lot of people are like, oh, I kind of wanted to get out of my home and get into a new home. Now may not be the right time for that because prices have gone up so much. So there's a lot of people thinking, well, you know what, maybe I will fix the house that I have.
Yep, and we see a lot of that. So you could tap that equity for maybe I want to add on a deck, maybe I want to redo that kitchen or bathroom. It's a fantastic way and probably the best tool when you're looking at doing those things. And it's usually based on a 15-year repayment, so the payments stay relatively low. And again, you can use it, pay it off. Say you're going to do a fence this year and you can do a deck next year. You could use it, maybe work it down, and then re-advance it the next year. So if you're going to stay in your home, which some people are choosing, the nice thing is when you sell right now, you're doing really well, but you still have to replace it with something. So it's kind of apples to apples.
That is the challenge. So interest rates are already going up. We know the Fed wants to raise interest rates, I think, 3 or 4 times this year.
Possibly, yes.
So if somebody's looking at, oh, maybe that's a good idea. I know I have some projects this summer on the horizon. Now might be a good time to get in there and get that HELOC in so that you have that money available before all the interest rates go up.
Yep. The one thing with the HELOC, though, maybe if there was any drawback, it's typically based on prime. And right now, prime is 3.5%.
Sure.
So that can fluctuate a little bit. But with the higher first mortgage rates right now, the home equity lines are still lower than the first mortgage rates, which was kind of flipped about maybe 6 to 12 months ago. So they may go up if prime goes up a little bit, but historically they're still so low, and it's still such a great tool compared to the other options that I would really, ask people to reach out and really take a look at it, because I feel like it's one of the best options.
So obviously, you're going to pay interest. It's a loan like any other loan. Are there any other fees involved?
Typically, a home equity loan is going to be a lot less. Usually, when you do a first mortgage, you have to do a full appraisal. You pay origination underwriting. Typically, those fees are much less on a home equity loan, so it makes it more cost effective. Maybe a few $100s, maybe $300 to $500, as opposed to a couple thousand if you're going to refinance the first mortgage. So, and typically the time frame is maybe 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes they're a lot quicker. So it just depends.
So if somebody is thinking, I know I'm going to have projects coming up this year, what is kind of a general range for home equity lines of credit in terms of like how much? I've known people with $15,000, $20,000 just to have that revolving amount.
Yep, it's nice so that if emergency comes up, you can just tap that. Now, it's going to vary. If you want to build a big outbuilding garage, and you have the line, I've done $150,000, $200,000 lines of credit. So typically the minimum, is usually 15 to 20, or else it might not be cost effective. But you can go up to a couple $100,000. It just depends on your situation and what projects you want to do and so forth. But again, excellent question on there. So it's going to vary. So what's nice is sit down, kind of get an idea where you're at, what the payments would be, how much you want to advance, and just see if that's a good option for you.
That That is awesome. Thanks so much, Tony, for coming back on and sharing with us your knowledge. If you want to get in touch with Tony, he's at Town and Country Credit Union at that address, South Fargo, I believe, right?
Yeah, right off 52nd there, yep.
Yeah, and get in touch with him and he can answer all your questions regarding home equity loans and a whole lot of other things. But if you're not feeling your best, have you tried holistic treatments? Next on North Dakota Today, we're going to talk about integrative medicine and how it can help you.